Good evening, everyone. And on this occasion of very auspicious day of Guru Purnima, I bow you all senior members present over here, the faculties who are having valuable knowledge with them and seek the support and wishes, best wishes from all of you. And the knowledgeable people are always valuable people. And on this auspicious day, I wish Happy Guru Purnima to all of you. And friends, this is our 14th series of Sky High Symposium, and we are in connect with all of you since last 14 Wednesdays. So more than 3 months. So I'm feeling very happy that we are continuously in touch and we are able to share the knowledge and give the platform for chartered accountant women to connect with all of you. So if you have any inclination to be the coordinator or the speaker, we are here to support you. And our Madam Chairperson is not today because she is busy in another meeting, but with her guidance and our support of our office, Shanu Madam and Ruchi Madam are here. Shanu Madam is also chartered accountant at Delhi, and our coordinators, very beautiful coordinators, Amruta Madam from Pune, Meghna Madam from Mumbai, Hinal Madam from Mumbai. So we welcome all my beautiful, knowledgeable chartered accountant women fraternity. And friends, it is our endeavor to serve the best to all the members of our institute, and we are always there for you, by you, for all, with all your support. So with these welcome remarks, I welcome all of you once again and request the coordinator, Amruta Madam, to take it further and introduce the first faculty of the session.
Thank you so much. Regards and best compliments, best wishes to everyone, all the participants on the auspicious day of Guru Purnima. Indeed, it's a pleasure for me to introduce our speaker for the day, who is going to take a very interesting topic, cyber security audit, the scope and methodology. As Preeti Madam has mentioned that in this Sky High Symposium 14th edition, we have amazingly received great faculties on very interesting topics, very important and relevant topics for the upcoming season. So indeed, it's a pleasure for me to introduce our first speaker for the day, CAS Deepika. Deepika Madam is handling assignments involving audit analytics, exception reporting, application review, ERP remediation, information technology general controls, internal financial controls for banks, NBFCs, and manufacturing companies. In the past, she has also held the various important positions like special invitee to the Digital Accounting and Assurance Committee of the SIRC of ICAI. She was a secretary to the Women's Committee of the Institute of Internal Auditors, Madras chapter, faculty with the SIRC for Information Technology Training and Advanced Information Technology Training. She is a guest lecturer at various professional bodies and educational institutions and colleges in the topic of data analytics, forensics, blockchain technology, IS and IT audits, and audit automation. In the past, she has worked with various renowned firms and has a very rich experience. So without taking much of your time, may I please request the first faculty for the day, CAS Deepika, to please take over the charge of the session. Welcome to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity and thank you for the wonderful introduction. So let's move into the presentation for today. So basically today we are going to understand cyber security audit. What is cyber security audit? What is the expected scope from the regulators? Why we are doing it? And how this is done? What type of reporting is required? So we are going to have a brief overview about cyber security audit for the next 1 hour. So basically, this will be our agenda: understanding the background of cybersecurity audit, areas for VAPT, vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. So most commonly heard term after Corona, and high volume of digitization that has happened. Then what are the guiding frameworks, like how we have accounting standards, auditing standards, and different frameworks which are governing and supporting our audit procedures. Similarly, what are the frameworks that are available for us to do cybersecurity audit? Then what type of basic controls that we can have in place to ensure that we have a cyber safe environment. So this is going to be the agenda for the class session. And so before jumping into this, so just wanted to clarify. So IT audit, system audit, IS audit, we are having very wide names, like macro level names, but each one's scope and methodology is going to be slightly different. So if you see now, cybersecurity is one area. So essential audit methodology and scope for cybersecurity audit will be vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. So when we say VA, PT, so VA is one audit methodology and PT is one audit methodology, and it comes under information security or cybersecurity audit. And we have other areas of system audit, like we do core IT operation review, like reviewing ERP, post-implementation review, pre-implementation review, system testing, etc. and all comes under ERP IT operations review. Then we have system audits under regulators, like RBI has defined a different scope for system audit, SEBI has a different scope. All regulated entities, including NHB, IRDA, different regulators have come up with different scope for system audit, which may include one or more of the above. So those will be a different assurance function which we have to see on a case-to-case basis. Then during business change, that is due diligence, as part of due diligence also technology review and IPR review comes, because a lot of companies are now, valuation is based on the technology that they are holding. We are seeing more and more fintech companies mushrooming and lot of investments coming into fintech and e-commerce platforms. So this is also an important area which will be requiring technology understanding, but not essentially covering cybersecurity perspective. And as part of SA also, now for regulated entities, they want the statutory auditor to comment on IT general controls, cybersecurity. If it is listed in foreign stock exchanges, then different SOX compliances which may be required for that particular regulated entity, that also requires IT audit knowledge or IT audit scope testing. So essentially for this session, we are going to see this area, which is going to be cybersecurity review, which is also part of system audit, but requires some different skill base. Okay. So now, if you see, this is actually a threat map. What a threat map is, so I'm showing you a URL. This is a live threat map, which is actually monitoring different types of attacks happening at different locations. So every attack has a target, okay, and the target is being targeted for based on a malware. It may be a malware, it may be a phishing attack. It may try to exploit some vulnerability and gain access to the system. It may be any type of attack. How now they are able to monitor this and bring out that this mail sent is having a malware, this SMS sent is having a virus, or this photo which is sent is having a virus? How they will identify? There are different tools which are used for identifying this. Basically, if we see, the modus operandi will be every time a virus is created or a malware is created and it has affected someone, then that signature of or the footprint of the particular virus or the malware is registered. Okay, registered by regulatory authorities, not-profit organization. There are different people who are actually getting the repository of different signatures. It's like once a disease is identified, we document that pattern, symptoms, etc., so that we can identify a medicine, vaccine, where you will, like for every offense, there is a defense, the same mechanism. So once you identify there is a disease, then you identify the formula to cure the disease. So similarly, there is activity where someone is creating a particular virus and another person is identifying wherever there is a intrusion that is happening, wherever there's a data loss that is happening, why it has happened, how it has happened, how it is different from the previous attack. Like that, the analysis is done and signatures are created and repositories are maintained. It's like data bank. CIBIL is having loan default data bank, right? So Competition Commission is having different data bank. Capital Line is having different data bank, something very similar to that. So now if you see, every minute there are so many hundreds of attacks that are happening. Okay. So now, is every attack resulting in data compromise? We have to look at it. So it may not. Having systems which are having sufficient security mechanisms, there may be phishing attacks coming on us, there may be malware attacks coming, but our system will be stable enough, secured enough, where we are identifying that this is an attack and protecting our system from the particular virus. Okay, so in cyber security review, what we are going to see is essentially that there are different threats that can come. So it may be a malware, it may be a spam mail, okay, unwanted mails, even marketing mails. You can say it like cyber security only. Like you don't want every day some salesman coming and knocking your door. So we will put a board. Okay, salesperson not allowed. Private property, intruders will be prosecuted. So all these are also actually threats only, if you want to have a secure environment. Okay, data breach. We hear so much about data breach, Aadhaar breach. Then we are talking about even money from our bank account withdrawn. Okay, wrong account transfers. Okay, then information leakage. Some confidential information about some person is coming out. Recently, we had that cell phone tapping thing, Pegasus. So there are different types of cyber threats that are available, that are there in the environment, which may or may not affect us. Okay, so irrespective of that, we cannot have the house open for exposing ourselves into different attacks. So we need to have a secured environment. So now, should we control the threat? Yes. Okay, we have to identify mechanisms wherein we are identifying, let it be locking the door is the first level. Okay, then locking windows is the second level. Putting double door. So a lot of our people, we used to put, let's say 80s, 90s and all, grill gate before the door. So it's an additional layer of security. So no one is able to directly open my house door. There's a grill gate before it. Okay, so now we have smart doors. Only based on some biometric, you are able to open the door. Next level, we are having motion detectors, sensors, etc. to identify, monitor any intruder or unwanted passages, like unwanted people coming and unwanted times. So we have sensors, smart home concept, so many different things are there. Now, what you want depends on the value of the content which is residing inside your house, right? So bank has additional layers of security because they are having a locker system where there are valuables secured in the premises. So even the door, normal door also, even the grill gate, they don't open fully. They will have it half, so that if someone is trying to take something and run away, they'll be able to catch them. Okay, so like that, depending on the data which we want to protect, depending on the value of the data which we want to protect, we will be defining, okay, the security requirements. Okay, so now let's go from the home analogy to the system environment. So we have a server, okay, then we have some data residing on the server. So is it regulatory required data? Is it business required data? Is it regulatory required data? Business required data. So then it comes whether it is transaction data or master data, which has IPR, which has, now let's say Netflix data. You cannot download a movie from Netflix and put it in some website. Okay, clients who do. Okay, so the environment is so secured that you ensure that even one country person is not able to view it in another country, because rights are limited to a particular country. So again, what is the control they have? And as I told you, for every offense there will be a defense. Okay, so for every threat and vulnerability present, people will be identifying some loopholes. Now what we are going to do in cyber security? So threats are there. Okay, if you are going to have a house, surely there is a threat of theft. If you are going to have organization, there is going to be threat of data. So even if we take an audit from scenario, okay, we are signing NDAs, we are having laptops. Now we cannot 100% disable media drives. At least a few laptops we have to give media drives, because we may be using digital signatures, we may be transferring data through pen drives, we may be having clients in remote locations, clients who do not have cloud data, we have to give the pen drive access. So what is the risk that some of the staff or article student is having possession to a confidential information? It is very probable. The thing is, they should not exploit that information, right? So threat is there, threat of data loss is there, threat of data integrity is there, but whether it is going to affect us, whether it is going to be exploited, is the functional objective of the audit now. That is whether we want to evaluate that there are different threats available. I have a lock. This lock, I know how much level I have put. I cannot put 100% lock. I can put 50% lock, 70% lock, 90% lock, 100% lock for the highest secured area. So at each level, what is the vulnerability? Basically, what is the risk I am foreseeing? And what is the probability of that vulnerability materializing? So this assessment we are going. So basically, it is a health check. What is vulnerability assessment? It is a health check of my IT environment, evaluating my materiality of data I am storing, materiality of the risk of data loss. Okay, evaluating different controls I have put in place. Like IFC, we are evaluating controls that is there in the business process. I'm checking whether there's a maker checker in place, whether there is a document trail in place, whether the document trail is captured in the ERP, whether there is an email approval. I'm checking for document trails and data points that are available to ensure the integrity of the transaction process. Similarly, here I am evaluating the integrity of the data which I'm storing in the server. Okay, it may be at application level, database level, network level. Basically, I'm performing a health check to evaluate all the controls I'm having to my IT infrastructure at each level of the infra architecture. It may be at DB level, database level, network layer. Okay, so what are the controls I have in place? Do I have sufficient access controls? Do I have sufficient network filtering through firewall? Do I have an antivirus or a filtering system where I am scanning every data that is received, whether it is authenticated data or not? Okay, is my systems and applications protected? So these are all different controls which I'm going to evaluate. Okay, as a health check, similar to IFC only. It's a health check where I'm seeing whether all are present, whether it is working fine or not. Okay, this examination when I do, I call it a vulnerability assessment. Okay, I call it a vulnerability assessment, VA. So now essentially, can I do a vulnerability based on a risk control matrix? Can I list, yes, firewall is there, working. Antivirus is there, working. Access controls are there. All my systems are up to date. My antivirus is up to date. So can I have a checklist and work? Yes, you can have a checklist and work. There are frameworks for building such checklists also, depending on the organization's infrastructure. Now, next level, is the checklist sufficient? We have to evaluate. So all scenarios, checklist may not be sufficient. We may be requiring further assessment. Okay, because only manual review of firewall may not be sufficient. I need to go and review every configuration in the firewall to see whether it is having sufficient control or not. Like in an ERP, having a PO approval is not sufficient. I go in and check the materiality, whether POs more than 10 lakhs are approved by some finance GM, or it is approved by some finance manager, or let's say PO for non-manufacturing items going without approval. So only when I go and see the approval matrix in detail, I'll identify the materiality of the controls that are put in place, right? So just assessment of the design is not sufficient. We have to go line by line for the configuration of different controls that are put in place in my IT architecture to evaluate the adequacy of the design. Okay, so in slides to come, we will see how we will be doing it. So essentially the concept which we have seen so far is we are having different networks. We are using systems. For that system, we are using different servers, architecture, cloud systems. We are using Office 365, some AWS based systems, some SaaS model, service, software as a service model, ERPs we are using, different products we are using. Okay, and essentially we are having traffic from external layers. Okay, we are communicating data. This is internal network. Let's say this is our LAN WAN network, my internal network. Then I have my external traffic from my vendors, customers, where I am receiving data. It may be even an email. Even an email is coming from a public network, right? Let it be my data which I'm transferring through a SFTP protocol. Okay, or a cloud AD system, Active Directory system. I'm having SharePoint for sharing data. Okay, I'm uploading something to cloud. I'm downloading something from cloud. So now wherever I'm having my external interface and internal interface, what type of data is moving to and what type of data is moving from, in that do I have a malicious traffic? So this I should have some system for evaluating and monitoring if there is a malicious traffic. So we already saw the malicious traffic monitoring will happen based on signatures. Okay, signatures means footprint of malwares which are already there. So once you have a symptom, you are having cold cough, there are possible disease that you can take test for. Okay, you have some swelling at some part, there is some possible diagnosis. Okay, basis which your medication will be fixed. So similarly, there are a lot of intruders. Okay, they all are similar, or it could be based on some previous attack, like we say history repeats, no, something like that. So I'm going to I have to have a system for identifying which is malicious traffic, which is legitimate traffic, and then I have to enter. So for this, we may be having system of spam filtering, firewalls, antiviruses. We may be having a log monitoring system. There are different systems in place. We will see that in later, but essentially this is our understanding. So we should have a mechanism. The organization should have a mechanism for doing this activity. And as an auditor, I'm going to evaluate whether this activity is sufficient, not sufficient. Okay, so the control process is there. So I have to go and evaluate design effectiveness of the process and operational effectiveness of the process. So now we have to understand the key terms. One is vulnerability assessment and the second one is penetration testing. So if we see vulnerability assessment, we are just seeing whether locks are there, firewall is there, and firewall configuration is there. How the configuration is working? Yes, good, it is working. So I have a PO approval mechanism. I have an authorization matrix. Okay, good. Okay. Now, second layer. So that is vulnerability assessment. I have a PO approval mechanism. I have an authorization matrix. Then it means I have sufficient controls in place. right? When we do that, it is vulnerability assessment. Okay, that is, I have an antivirus, the antivirus up to date. Then you are good to go. Like that, I'm just checking whether the lock is there, whether lock is well locked. Okay, when I do that, then I will be doing a audit methodology called vulnerability assessment. The next audit methodology is pen test or penetration testing. Pen test or penetration testing. Here what we are doing is, I'm not just checking what is there, what is not there. Okay, I am directly going and I'm going with a, let's say, bunch of keys. I am trying to open the lock. If it opens, good, we enter the system. Okay, and then see, with this entry which I have gained, what all data I am able to retrieve. Okay, is it sensitive data, non-sensitive data, critical data, non-critical data? Okay, is it going to affect my organization's, let's say, organization's image, reputation, goodwill, or it is going to be some non-material data, which is some old data coming. Okay, I am going to do that. So now here I'm going into the, let's say, shoes of a thief. Okay, I'm directly going, I'm trying to open the door, I'm doing some brute force attack, I'm trying to do some denial of service attack, I'm seeing whether I'm able to gain access. If I gain access, then I go in and I see what extent this access can be exploited. Okay, so I'm not doing this as a thief, I'm just putting my shoes into a thief's role and trying it. So this is called as ethical hacking. Pen test is nothing but what we call as ethical hacking. Okay, so basically here what we are doing is, we are trying to evaluate different, okay, we are trying to evaluate whether if a thief comes, will he be able to intrude my system or not. So here not just testing, I will go, I will run my tools. Okay, I will see what all configurations are there in the firewall, which is weak, which is strong. Weak, try to break. Strong, okay, wait. Okay, so if I'm not at all able to break, then I'll say it is a good control. Okay, if I'm able to break something, then it is a not so well implemented control. I break something, but I don't find anything inside. Then even if I break, no problem. So cost of the lock should not be more than the cost of goods it is trying to protect, right? So if I break in and I'm not able to get any data out, that door is like a waste door, then no problem. I break in, okay, the control is weak, I break in and I find a treasure of data. I have access to your competitor information or my IPR data, like I may have data which is of, let's say, more importance, like composition of my goods which I produce, etc. and all. So that means this is a serious vulnerability in the system. Okay, so this too, the audit methodology is different. So generally, as part of cybersecurity audit, both the work is done. You do first level vulnerability assessment, then you do second level pen test. Okay, first you identify whether locks are there, whether adequately protected, not protected. Next level, you try to go and break the lock, and then you see whether what you are going to get out from the system. Okay, basis this, we are going to give report based on the materiality of the observation. I hope so far we are traveling together and you are able to get the hang of cybersecurity review. Okay, I'm using a lot of analogies because in that way it will be very easy for us to understand. So than going for different names of protocols and tools, etc. So once we are comfortable with the fundamentals of what we are intending to do and how we are going to do it, next comes how and all I can implement this. Okay, so now our understanding is we are having objective is to secure my IT environment. My IT environment is exposed to a lot of known and unknown threats. For that, I need to have a shield, okay, protective shield. So that is going to be my security products, which I'm going to install in my organization. So as an auditor in this environment, I am coming in to evaluate whether the security environment which I have established is adequate or inadequate. So design level, when I am testing, I call it vulnerability assessment. Okay. When I go into operational effectiveness testing, I call it penetration testing. Okay. So with this background, we'll go to one example. Okay. So basic example, we'll take our mailbox. Okay. So mailbox, you receive mails through our mail exchange server, right? So every organization, depending on the mail exchange server we have subscribed to host our email, we will be having an email gateway for our particular domain. Okay. So if there is an email address, anyone can send you an email. There is no direct restriction from the mail exchange server to restrict any emails, right? So now we are building a gateway for our organization. Let's say I have a gateway for my domain. So based on this only, I'll be redirecting this particular address. This mail recipient should be this person. Okay, that is defined. So I may be getting different mails. So in our email, we may have vulnerabilities coming from anywhere. Like for example, the subject line. Okay, subject line can be misrepresenting. It will say like Amazon offer, but it would not have come from Amazon. Okay, it would have come from some spammer. Okay, putting as Amazon because it would have seen your e-commerce history that you are purchasing often in Amazon or Big Basket. They will be putting same names, same logos, etc. How Amazon sends mail. Similarly, they would have created a mail and they would have sent it just for you to have that motivation to click there. Okay, once you click, he may have some links to take this voucher of 100 rupees or 10% discount. Click here. So inside the mailbox or my body of the mail, okay, inside my mail body, I may be having some links. So that links could be phishing links where I am redirecting to a illegal or a website which is having some malicious tool or a malicious software. Okay, it can be even data stealing system. Okay, where you click, it will take all the data from your mailbox, etc. and all. You may have different types of vulnerability present in that link. Okay, it may be a virus link, it can be a malware link, etc. So next level is my attachments. So every time in my attachment, when I'm having something, okay, it may have a virus together. So only we will give like every time you download, do you want to scan for antivirus virus? It will say if you have a proper antivirus solution, it will ask because this is having the highest vulnerability. First one and second one are only like instigators, but this will have the actual problem maker. So once you download this tool, it is possible that it is downloading along with the Trojan or along with the malware, which will sit in your system and take away system's data, or it may not allow you to recover your data. Like you may have identified if you have copied, nowadays it's less, but little few years behind and all, when we used to use pen drives a lot, this was very common. You transfer some file from some not so accredited website, okay, or you take someone else's pen drive and copy some data from that pen drive. Some virus would have been attached to some file and it will erase all the data in your pen drive, right? So it will be sending secretly data to someone who had implanted it. Okay, so like this, we may be having phishing mails, phishing messages with attachments which are having malwares and bugs. Attachments are social engineering is there. Social engineering is the next big concept where I try to be like a authenticated person, but I'll be trying to get data out of you Okay, like for example, I'll call and say, I'm calling from this bank, I am calling from this company, I'm giving you this offer. Okay, those type of things are called as social engineering, but not to the level where they are putting BPOs to say I'm calling from some accredited bank. But I'm telling really, like you connect to someone in LinkedIn, okay, they have a very legitimate profile, and you are just initiating a conversation where they are talking about some possible business proposal, etc. Maybe they are only trying to get some baseline prices from you, okay, or they want the scope of work you are giving for your client. Okay, so like this, there are a lot of social engineering risks which are there for the organization as such, and which includes a cybersecurity risk also. So these are different risks that can happen in a mail gateway. Okay, so now how we have to protect it. Okay, so for protecting it, we need to have some, as I told you, a shielding layer. So first layer is we need to have a antivirus system to ensure all my mails, okay, whether it is spam, whether it is having Trojan. So whenever my mail from outside network comes into my system, before it reaches my gateway or mail exchange server, it will be scanned for any viruses. Okay, so now what is antivirus doing? How antivirus will identify that is a virus? So antivirus, we have different products, right? Different products which are selling antivirus solutions. So what are these companies doing? These companies are accumulating virus signatures of different virus attacks that have happened across the globe. Okay, so an antivirus is a tool which is like a dictionary. Okay, it contains signature of all the viruses so far identified. Okay, so only it comes with frequent update. Many times when you open laptop, immediately it will say, do you want to update your antivirus? Okay, you will be getting dialog boxes. What that is intending to do? Let's say last week you have previously updated. This week it will show you the dialog box again to update for new viruses it has identified during this week. Okay, similarly next week. So every week newer signatures which are identified by the tool vendor will be updated in your antivirus solution. So what is this doing? It will read all the data which is there, okay, in the mail system and try to match whether it is there in my data dictionary or not. If it is there in my dictionary, I will redirect it. I will not send it to my mail exchange server. It is not in my dictionary, then it will send it. So what is the risk I will be having if I'm having only antivirus solution? Risk of new virus will always be there. That is, it is not already identified. You are going to be the first time, first person to get that virus. Okay, you are the first person to get the disease, sort of. Okay, so you are the prime attack. Okay, first time something is coming, antivirus tool may not be having. Next, I have not updated my antivirus tool for last 6 months. Okay, that means my tool provider has given me signature update, but I have not updated. Still, I will be having the risk of, okay, viruses that have created for the last 6 months. If it comes, it will allow. Okay, so the control we will be auditing in antivirus will be whether antivirus product is there, implemented, whether it is up to date. Only 3 objectives. Okay, so if it is up to date, at least known viruses, it will filter. Unknown virus, okay, it is new for the antivirus company also, for us also. No one can do anything. Okay, it is like position of WHO in corona. Okay, it could not do anything, something like that. Okay, though you try to do, right? So all known viruses will be identified and filtered. So if it is matching dictionary, it will go down. Otherwise, it will go to your, you will receive it in the inbox. Next is your spam filter. This is to ensure that you are receiving only legitimate mails which are intended for you and not any other emails. Okay, so now this is a simple secure system which you can have for a email gateway. Okay, for protecting your email. So similarly, now we will have different controls which are required for the current IT environment in different levels. Okay, so what is the VA process, vulnerability assessment process. So first you should know what are the vulnerabilities present. So there should be a scanner where I am scanning my systems for different vulnerabilities. Then you analyze whether that vulnerability is negatively impacting me or not. Then you assess the risk for the entity. Whether for that entity, as I told you, cost of log can never be more than the cost of data which you are procuring or storing. So you evaluate the materiality and then suggest remediation plan. So this is almost very similar to a normal audit process. The only thing is the area which we are going to audit and the methodology or the tools which we are going to use for auditing is going to be little different. Okay. So now vulnerability assessment can be done at different layers. So it can be done at network layer. Okay, network layer is whenever my data is being communicated over LAN or through internet to different peer groups. Then at operating system level, at application level, database level. So all these three are more critical. This will be more on the internet facing applications vulnerabilities. This will be vulnerabilities inside my network. So inside my application, whether I'm having some risk of someone deleting the entire data, do I have risk of someone, let's say, hacking, like my data in my database, someone can do a SQL injection attack and remove the data from your database, or they can add data into your database. So how I'll be monitoring if such thing happens? All that also comes as part of vulnerability assessment. So this is the overall framework, okay, for assurance executives provided by CERT-In. So CERT-In is the organization, okay, it's a government body which is monitoring our cyber security purview. So CERT-In is nothing but Computer Emergency Response Team. Okay, CERT is Computer Emergency Response Team, established under Information Technology Act. Okay, Information Technology Act amended 2008-2010. Okay, IN stands for India. Okay, this is the organization or the regulatory body for evaluating or protecting Indian companies against cyber security. So our reporting mechanisms also will be to them only whenever there's a cyber incident. Within, I think, 6 hours, we have to report to CERT-In for remedial action, etc. So first level will be at policy level, how we are defining how the policy is planned, how the policy is executed, etc. Okay. Second level is going to be my systems, networks, data, application. Okay. And then my third level will be technology which I'm using for protecting this. Okay, I first define policies. Then I have my infrastructure in place. In my infrastructure, what all technology I'm going to use for my protection. Okay, that is my next thing. Sorry. Okay, so next thing is planning. Okay, so planning is going to be a continuous process where I'm going to have at different point in time how I'm going to have my know-how protected, people protected, tools protected, irrespective of changing technologies and changing corporate assets. Okay, so if we see our key vulnerabilities in operating system, mainly it's authentication. Operating system is nothing but my server or OS. Okay, in my server, how updated is my server? Okay, how am I connecting to my IIS, Internet Information Services? Am I allowing my people for remote access? How I'm sharing files? So these are all the areas where I can have vulnerabilities. So if we see example for this attack is ransomware attack. So generally ransomware attack is targeted on operating system where we have vulnerabilities in the OS, okay, where the update is not having patch updated, like I'm not having an up-to-date system or I'm not having adequate controls in my operating system, then I may have a ransomware attack. Okay, At database layer, I may have excessive privileges where I'm not restricting need to know base accesses. Okay, I'm not having encrypted information. I'm not isolating critical data. I'm having all data together. Then when an intruder comes, it becomes very easy to steal data. Like for example, let's take simple thing, Facebook. So whenever you create a page, it is there in where Facebook's database, like you create a profile or page. So if you're not isolating profiles, if you're not creating some extra security or encryptions, etc., okay, easily someone is able to go into the data, extract that information and create a page exactly like yours with similar posts, similar friends, etc. Right? So these are all examples where my at database level I'm having some control lapses. Okay. So next is at application level. So application level, I have created a login. Okay. I have authenticated my session by putting a password. Then I left it unattended. Then it is possible that someone can use that session and execute the transaction. So now it depends on the security of my application. So let's say we are talking about web-based application here. So in a web-based application, now you are entering a URL, you are going into a website, you are putting data in. Okay. So once you put data in and you are authenticating the session, logging in, right? So now you are a legitimate user, right? So when we have this, okay, we should something like this. So here in web application, we'll be having something called as security socket layer or SSL. So if we see this log sign, it is showing that this web page is encrypted. Okay. So now plain HTTP page means when you type a password and authenticate a session, it is actually transmitted in plain text to the servers. Okay. But if you are having an encryption layer, that is HTTPS protocol, that means you are applying a certificate here. So if you click on the log sign and you can go and see this connection is secure, it will show what certificate we have installed. Okay. So what certificate is installed. So there generally it is SHA 256 encryption. So once you use this, it means all the data is encrypted. So this is some hash information. So this encrypted information only moves into my recipient or my data centers or my servers and not this plain text. So when you are using some less secured portal, okay, data will be in plain text wherein you will be able to access where an intruder, it will be easy for an intruder to access this and take out your password. Okay, not just password, any information you type, because all the information you type will be encrypted. Okay, will be in plain text. But if you are using a secure system, it will be in HTTPS. So now as an auditor, what I'll be evaluating? I'll be evaluating whether I'm having a secure system, whether my HTTPS there, certificates are deployed, whether all my sub-URL, subdomain certificate is deployed. This will be the different tests which we'll be doing. Okay. So to ensure that there is no intruder who's coming into my authenticated session. So as I discussed in the beginning, we have different agencies, okay, and regulators giving different frameworks and feeds for my evaluation. Okay. So what type of standards should be used for? So this thing, this SSL, we say, this is protocol. Basically, HTTP is the protocol for transmitting data over internet. So for HTTP, what are the best practice frameworks? Okay, if I'm going to use a MailBox, okay, that will be IMAP protocol. For that, what are the best practice framework? That like that we are having. This is the main organization which has given standards. Okay, we have OSP standards. Then we have regulators like certain I discussed, Computer Emergency Response Team of India. Then we have Cyber Infrastructure Security Agency. This is a US-based agency. So these people are monitoring the traffic which is happening over the internet, and they give us even feeds, not just reporting entity and regulatory entity. They give us feeds of vulnerable connections. Like for example, traffic from, so like for example, certain will issue a notification to each bank saying like IPs coming from this country, don't accept. Or they will give a list of IPs. So these are the some vulnerable IPs that we have identified. So block these IPs. Like that, they will give us continuous feeds based on which the entity or the organization can protect itself. Okay. So next is, as I told you, directly I cannot go and only see the firewall, whether the configuration is there, accept, reject. That is not sufficient. We will be using what is called as cyber security tools. So what is basically cyber security tools or vulnerability assessment tools? It is going to be set of commands designed for automatically scanning for new or existing threats. So as antivirus is scanning for all the existing threats or existing viruses that it has listed in its dictionary, similarly, each vulnerability assessment tool will be designed for executing some set of commands. So as a cyber security auditor, what we will be doing is we will be running different tools for different aspects for the projected vulnerabilities we see in the organization. So if they have, let's say, web-based applications, then we will be running tools for evaluating software vulnerabilities. Now, let's say they are having some client server infrastructure, WAN infrastructure. Then you will be running host-based scans for ensuring whether my servers are protected. Okay, then network is mandatory. Network security will be mandatory for any organization, even if you are not communicating to external bodies or external things. Internal network security, like for example, wiretapping. Like you know how phone lines used to be tapped and you'll be getting crosstalk. Your number will be used by someone else to make a call. Those are all wiretapping. Same thing can happen here. My network cable someone can use and use my network illegally for some purpose, or use it to intrude into my system and take my data out. So that is also possible. So network scans will be mandatory irrespective of what organization, how they are designed. So there are different tools for whenever you have a router, whenever you have a wireless system, how you all want to validate the security. So like that, for everything, there are suite of systems. There are a lot of products. So some major products are Nessus, comes with suite of tools. Then we have Kali Linux. Okay, it's an open source cyber security tools. I think there are more than 2,000 tools for running different scans for different purposes. It can be for email filter, it can be for virus, it can be for application, it can be for database, even application code level security you can do. At code level, is it possible for someone to go and intrude and place some illegal or illegitimate 4 lines of code wherein I am transferring some amount to myself or for some personal gain? Okay, that level we have application code level security scans also. Even for at code level also we can keep some viruses or softwares. Okay, like after this date, okay, let's say we have some disgruntled employee. Okay, it is possible after his resignation date or after he was sent out from the organization, he is writing a program inside, inserting 2 lines for the application to abort. Okay, it is possible. So the security scans and all will be helping me to ensure I'm in a preventive environment, I'm in a secure environment, I'm not allowing anyone to make any unauthorized modification to code. Even if an authorized person is going and making, how I'm going to protect my systems. Okay, it's like that. We have different suite of tools. So how we'll be doing is we'll be evaluating the tools. Okay, I'll just show you how the tool works. So I have here opened some one tool called hosted scan. Okay, there are a lot of web-based tools also. There are tools which you download and use also. Like for example, you can just add a target. Okay, you put the URL. Like for example, I'll show you. I can put the URL ICAA.org. It's a vulnerability assessment tool only, and I give submit. So once I added a target, then you create a scan. So it is asking. So this tool is having scan for these items. So it is there for network vulnerability. It is there for network port scan. Then we have TCP port scan. Then we have SSL. SSL is the HTTPS, no? We told, no, that port scan. So let's say for which all scan you want to run. So for now, let me put only port 80, that is HTTP scan, and I give next. So what this tool will do is, I will select which URL I want to select. So what this tool will do is, this will keep running, okay, set of commands to evaluate what are the data which is transmitted. Is there any unresolved positions? Is there any broken links? Is there any vulnerabilities available in the particular targeted URL, okay, in which is complying with different standards? So it will give me a report considering all that. So I can do it daily, weekly, monthly. Do you want email results, etc. and all? We can give, and we give okay. It will take time. Okay, it may take 1 hour. It depends on the traffic. It depends on so many different parameters. So I have already run one and kept for our income tax URL. I just used this URL. So this URL is coming under this IP. So this was done for Nmap. Nmap, nothing but network map. Okay, which is also run on HTTPS port. So it is coming and saying these are 2 ports which are open. Okay, and it is possible for synchronized attack. Okay, so port 80 for TCP is having HTTP service, which is not a secured service. Okay, then port 443, okay, which is also another port for communication of data. Okay, it is having HTTPS, but it is open. So what an open port means is, I am allowing public traffic to come in, it means. So closed port means I have filtered for specific IPs only to access my data. Okay, so whenever I have an open port, I should have a more controlled environment wherein I am monitoring for continuously for traffic and identifying if any intruder or any malicious attacker is there in the system or not. Okay, so like this we'll be able to run different. So yeah, something has come and you can open the report. So there will be like hundreds of, so this is the port for HTTP. So if you see, it is giving me different encryptions which are possible here. So for different, so 13 encryption certificates are installed, and few are 128-bit encryption, few are 256-bit encryption. So which is supported. So RCA, this is one algorithm which is not supported. We are having forward secrecy. So like this, you get a report based on fixed scanning, okay, which we have to read, understand, evaluate whether it is having any vulnerability or not, whether it is impacting the organization or not. So here the role of auditor will be more on evaluating report, okay, than actually coding and identifying the report. So here the understanding is more on the required more on the vulnerabilities possible and evaluating whether that vulnerability is negatively impacting my organization or not. So with this, I'll close my session. So if any questions, I think we can take.
Hi, thank you, Deepika, for a wonderful session. We have only one question currently. The first question is that there's a doubt relating to cyber security. Is it with advent of smart contracts and blockchain technologies? How is it possible to minimize the threat of the cyber security attacks? And if so, suggest some methods.
Okay. So main method is having a SOC tool. So generally, as I told you, you can do this testing on a quarterly basis, monthly basis, annual basis, where you are checking for vulnerabilities, open ports, etc. So if you take banks, insurance companies and all, they have more vulnerabilities because they are dealing with public money. There is a lot of stake involved, right? So they'll be working on a real-time monitoring. Okay, the BAPT will be done for every minute, for every transaction. Okay, so you have solutions called as SIEM, okay, Security Incident and Event Management Solutions, which does this on a real-time basis. And your first part of question dealing with blockchain and both are separate. Blockchain is a transaction processing system. It's a way in which transactions are processed and recorded. Cybersecurity is more on a monitoring system. Cybersecurity is nothing but audit only, where I am collecting all the logs, evaluating. I'm collecting all traffic, evaluating. It's more on a monitoring system. Blockchain is more a transaction processing system. I create content, I encrypt the content, then I connect another content to it. So it works on blocks, hashed blocks, and time between each block, etc., which is a little different technology.
Okay, thank you. On behalf of the entire team over here, I would give you a very heartfelt thank you. The session was wonderful, especially the way you explained everything, stepwise. In the comments also, we've got comments like, the session was very nice and all. So it was a pleasure to have you, and we hope that, we can connect more on maybe, blockchain or some other topic with you again. So thank you so much for giving your precious time to us.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It was very nice being here today. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Meghna, I request Meghna to introduce the next speaker now. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. At the outset, I would like to congratulate Deepika for such a lovely session, and I welcome CA Vandana Dodia for taking the next session on MIS. CA Vandana is a qualified chartered accountant as well as a LLB. She has completed her diploma in information systems audit, and her journey of learning is still on. And she has recently qualified in forensic audit and fraud detection certificate course of ICAI. She is popularly known as Tally Evangelist, where she helps her clients and their team to become functionally expert in Tally. For the benefit of members at large, she also has a YouTube channel on Tally Simplified by Vandana Dodia. In past span of 20 years, she has been serving the CA Institute and the WIRC branch of ICAI, and she has been co-opted as various committee members and subgroup member of Digital Accounting and Assurance Committee. She is also a committee member of coaching class committee of GST, and she is also associated with Borivali CPE study circle, and she has been the convener in 2000 and 2005 there. She has started women wing in BCSC and SGAF. She has tremendous knowledge on various fronts of accounting, and I have personally heard her at many occasions. With this brief introduction, I would like to welcome CA Vandana Dodia, and now the stage is yours, ma'am.
So at the outset, good evening to one and all. Thank you, Meghna, for this wonderful introduction. Thanks, Preeti, and all from the WNC committee.
Welcome.
Giving me an opportunity to share the knowledge which we have gained in our 25 years of journey of being chartered accountant. So let me now share my screen for the benefit of the members. I hope my screen is visible. So today's topic was little hatke what we have thought of. MIS reporting, whether it will make us a successful person when we are reporting. So what first I thought, let us first briefly understand what we mean by MIS report. This report, can anyone confirm audio is okay and the PPT is visible? Anyone from the coordinators?
Yes, ma'am, we can see the screen.
Yeah, okay, fine. So, MIS reports are reports required by the management to assess the performance of the organization and allow them for faster decision making. And the MIS, whenever we heard, so this is Management Information System, simply referred to as MIS. And we will have to break down the word. First is there is a management, there is the information, and there is a system. So at the heart of it, such a system which will provide the important information to the management of the company. And then once the reports are generated by the team of the people working under the sub mid-level management, then it goes to the strategic management or a top-level management. So depending on the importance of the reporting and the outcome, it will be then taken the decision by the management. Now, what are the components? So what we need to understand, people who use the information system, there is a data that information system records, and there are business procedures. That procedures put in place on how to record, store, and analyze data. So at the outset, let us understand that there will be some accounting software you will be using, or some SAP, Tally, Prime, or any other software for that matter. There will be recording of the data, and then CA will come to analyze the data. There will be obviously hardware, which will be including servers, workstation, networking equipment, printers, and so on and so forth, and the software which will handle the data. And generally what we understand is that Excel is the best tool to give us the report in the management, which will get the proper information the way what they desire. So you can have a dashboard. But all of that can come only from the accounting system. But let's understand, data will be stored in some accounting system, and that from that you will be expecting. So there will be database software and so on and so forth. Now, what are the different types of MIS reports? These are real-time reports, ad hoc reports, or scheduled reports. Let us understand one by one what I mean by real-time reports. Now, I want participants to tell me the real-time report is a self-explanatory on the tips. मतलब अभी मैंने बटन प्रेस किया और मुझे एक रिपोर्ट चाहिए. This type of report, extreme requirement, instant action लेना है. So what are the instances you think of we will term as a real-time reports? These are little interactive session because one-way traffic, I will little get bored, So anyone, Amrita or whosoever is there, Hinal, आप लोग भी एग्जाम्पल दे सकते हैं, पार्टिसिपेंट्स भी डाल सकते हैं चैट बॉक्स में. Round the clock we are observing actually these reports, and then pick our business में उसका solution मिलता है. So I am talking to all our people are there. Hello, Jago. I need some answers. In chat, I need some answers.
Hi. I've been checking, but I'm sorry, there is no answers on the chat box.
So now, Hinal, you take the honors. Okay, what can be the basic real-time reports? For example, I can give you one hint. Yeah, today I want to place a order for certain item to be purchased. So first I will check what reorder level, or there is a sufficient inventory lying in my godown or not. Or some person calls me for the some person is on a field marketing guy, and he calls me up and find I want to take 100 kilo order, whether the material is lying with us or not. So all these are the real-time challenges, right? So you need real-time reports. Bank balance, I want to issue some check. So as a management, I will be requiring every day on a desk my bank balance, what is my current bank balance, what are this thing. Even for that matter, outstanding receivable. Do you agree with me? These are some.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay.
I agree with you. But for these things, you require real-time reports. Otherwise, where the goods are concerned, ज़्यादा buy हो जाएगा, and especially अगर check अगर issue कर रहे हैं, तो bounce भी हो सकता है if you don't have the adequate amount in your account. All this is important.
Correct. So let's go to the ad hoc report. Now, ad hoc report is a less hyperactive in contrast with the real-time reporting. And these types of reports are carried out by organizations. They do not rely entirely on real-time data. They carry out the business report once in a while based on monthly, quarterly, or annual requirement using some pivot. So here, what are the examples we can think of? Like suppose there is one company in the iron market in Mumbai. We know Kapda Bazaar ho iron market ho. There is a Saturday is a collection day. So there will be a weekly reports. So it is not on the toes every time, real time not data is required, but you will require the outstanding receivable as on particular date, like every quarter, every month, depending on the credit cycle they are using. There will be some trend analysis. Management is sitting quarterly, they will want to review, okay, what is the trend going on of the sales. So trend analysis of sales. Acha, I can sit down and check slow moving items. So these are all something which I will ad hoc report somewhere in the time gap. Whenever it is required, I will be going through that. Okay, let's move forward. And there are some scheduled reports. Now, what can be the example, for that matter? Scheduled report is what? Very, very important. You will be remembering today is the last date for the GSTR 1. So it is a pre-scheduled calendar event. तो हमें GST returns के लिए सब निकालना पड़ेगा, सेल्स रजिस्टर निकालना पड़ेगा, तभी आप GSTR 1 फाइल कर सकते हो. क्रेडिट नोट कोई अकाउंट हुई है नहीं हुई है, you need to check. So all that will be factored. Now talk about the listed companies. They will be requiring quarterly review reporting. So all that will become a scheduled reports where you will be taking out the reports, profitability statement for quarter, that are all scheduled reports and which is required by the statute basically.
Right.
So just there are, buckets. I can make a bucket that are financial reporting, HR reporting, sales reporting, resource reporting, and abnormality reporting. So industry has a different requirement depending on the management thought process. These reports are taken care. Now let us understand when you say Vandana is Tally evangelist, and most of the SMEs are also using Tally Prime. Can you tally the accounting reports? So what are the accounting reports? These are the obtained financial position reports. This will give me operational performance, also economic activity of the business. So some example, whether sales reports, what are the trend, purchase and expense reports, even account receivable and payable with aging report, bank reconciliation report. This will be the accounting reports you can fetch from the Tally Prime. Then you export to Excel. See, every report of database can be then posted to the Excel, and then you interpolate and do whatever analysis you want to do. Next comes the financial reports. The financial determination of an organization is done by the shareholders, stakeholders, creditors, and even the government units. So that will be the example is generally you go with the audited balance sheet, profit and loss, cash flow statements. Even in the GST, there was an audit previously. That time they were asking for the cash flow statements. So why these figures they are asking is to create a working. So these all will become the management information system report, and even for that matter, ratio analysis. Ratio analysis is also important. When you approach the bank to take some loan, they will always ask what is your debtors turnover ratio, what is your quick ratio. So all these things are really readily available or not in your software, accounting software. That's very important. So you don't need to do major exercise or invest your time. Now, third bucket is inventory. Any business runs, wherever there's a trading or a manufacturing concern, you have to have an effective managed inventory control. And these can be done through, overall looking the stock item, whether it is there, or reorder level, the way we understood that slow moving item is there or not, a sunk item is there or not, or is there any negative stock item exception? When we go for audit, we always check into that. And last is fourth, management control reports. What are the controls? Internal control is now important aspect, and internal financial control. Even the ROC, MC guideline is there. The internal financial control should be in place. Even now, the audit trail has come, which has been now postponed to the next year. But then it should be implemented current. First, for 22, your data should be having the audit trail. That is the MCA requirement, correct? So these are like budgets, cost center reports, scenario reports for keeping the control and check on where the company is heading. So let me go to the next slide. Now let us have some real live example to understand. So all of must be happily watching the Tally screen. I have made one demo company. Hinal, just now you can see Tally.
Yes, I can see the Tally page.
Tally page, okay?
Yeah.
So now, always we go, and this is a gateway of Tally. I believe that people are using Tally and they know how to get into Tally, okay? I have come here. There is always more reports or display more reports. and then we go to sales register, display account book, sales register. So see, financial year 21-22. Looking at these, there will be some immediate what comes in your mind. Why there is no sale in May and June? As analytical reporting, what will come in your mind? There is no sales in May and June.
सबसे ज़्यादा सेल दिसंबर में हुआ है.
हाँ, दिसंबर से नहीं, मार्च में हुआ है. तो वो
मार्च में हुआ है, right? Everything is booked in March only, I would say.
So ये देख के ही एज अ सीए हमारे दिमाग में सब चालू हो जाए. तो okay, May and June we can justify. There was a second wave of COVID, so sometime there was a slump, right? And he must be having cash credit facility from the bank, so he has to cope up with the total turnover to showcase to the company. So looking at these, खाली डेटा को देख के ही हमारा माइंड चालू हो जाता है. तो हम क्या इसमें और एडिशनल बेनिफिट देख सकते हैं. तो मैंने पूरे साल का सेल्स स्क्रीन पे लिया. Then let's have a columnar report. On the right hand side there was the effect button. Then I will like to see GST number is inputted by the data operator. Then whether the quantity details and then rate and show item value. So I can have different analysis of the data. So now can you see the reports? So I immediately come to know there is one cancelled item. Whatever.
Yeah.
Then also I will come to know there is this client, there is no GST number. So I will probe into, I will inquire whether it is a B2C transaction or not. Now let's come from the management. These as an auditor we check. Now management is not bothered. वो क्या बोलेंगे, हाँ मेरा सेल हो रहा है, मेरा अकाउंटेंट सब चेक कर रहा है. I'm interested to see my profit, right? So let's click on a F7 show profit. So that will show me. I just go on a right side arrow. Now see, can you see the GP?
Yes.
So and looking at this report, immediately you will probe into. Why there is a negative, right?
Right.
Could you see? There was so much negative of it. So I will press enter on the transaction. And beauty is that I will like to know this item was purchased and what was the cost and how with a click of button I can come to know. I will tell you Alt as is a shortcut, Alt and Singapore. And see, there is a stock query. This item I had purchased in last June 20 with 75 rate. And due to market condition, it is now sold at 65. तो वो मेरा वैसे भी स्लो मूविंग आइटम था. एक साल के बाद मुझे बेचने का मौका मिला तो मैंने बेच दिया. Whatever that people have to answer, but immediate आपको जो report चाहिए. What I'm trying to tell is that you can extract the report information from the tally with the click of button. Right. Now I will like to see कि ये तो मेरे को यहाँ पे समझ में आ गया. मैं मैनेजमेंट को ये टैली का स्क्रीन तो नहीं दिखा सकती हूँ. So I will go to Alt key export. Currently, I am pressing the enter and then I will configure the data the way I want, right? So while configuring the data, there is something called show more. Let's click on that. Show more. So now, if there is a, can you see export for pivot table? So
right.
Itself, and here just you have to press enter, so it will become yes. So to operate this, you need to know कि यहाँ पे आपको enter करना है. Again I press enter, it will become no. So again I will press yes for you, and then you define the path where you want the data, and then you can have a file name the way you want. Okay, and the moment you give the file name, it will export the data to the Excel. And here also GP we have already given on the right one particular column. So let's have a file name. What is this? It is a demo company sales, right? Sales. And 21-22 with GP. Whatever name you want to give, you can give and Control A and then send. Fail to create file. Why? Because मैंने already कुछ अंदर डाल के रखा है आपके लिए. So ये मैंने आपके लिए फिर से बनाती हूँ. What was the rate? Alt E was this current. I want configuration. Then I want show more. ऑलवेज रिमेंबर पाइवट चाहिए तो मुझे शो मोर करना है क्योंकि वो मैंने डिफॉल्ट में सेट नहीं करके रखा है, राइट? ओके, नाउ फोल्डर पाथ वाज द प्रॉब्लम. यहाँ पे पाथ वाज के, बट मेरे पास अभी के अवेलेबल नहीं है. तो सी हियर नाउ आई कैन हैव अ स्पेसिफिक पाथ और सिलेक्ट फ्रॉम ड्राइव. तो अगर आई वांट हियर ICI देन वी, चलो कंट्रोल ए एंड स्पेसिफाई पाथ पे आके एंटर मार के आप कंट्रोल वी कर सकते हो. दैट इज ऑल्सो बेनिफिशियल प्रोविजन नाउ वी हैव. एंड अगेन वी विल चेंज द नेम, से डेमो सेल्स रजिस्टर विद प्रॉफिट, एंड साल भी लिखना है लिख सकते हो, बट दिस चॉइस इज योर्स. हाउ गुड यू आर इन नेमिंग, दैट विल सेव योर लाइफ. अगर शो जीएसटी डिटेल्स भी डालना है तो यहाँ पे मुझे कॉन्फ़िगरेशन में जाके यस करना पड़ेगा. जितना आपको whatever additional information you want to fetch ना, you need to say yes to the database. Okay, then say. So why I did that, you need to understand. जब नहीं रिपोर्ट जनरेट होता है तो हमने कुछ एरर की, वो हमें समझ में आना चाहिए, because there was a path was wrong, but that path was not available tally to export the data. तो हम कभी सोल्यूशन नहीं जानते तो हमें क्या लगता है, the system is not working. So there may be some ignorance on our part that we need to understand. And always I believe, you should be never giving up attitude you should have. You need to know why it has happened. And that why comes, and then you get the answer finally. Okay? यहाँ पे हम yes करेंगे. Now Excel has come. So now we are ready. We are used to see all this. हमें जो नहीं चाहिए वो आप डिलीट कर सकते हो. डेटा मुझे पार्टी एड्रेस, आई एम नॉट इंटरेस्टेड एज ऑफ नाउ. ओके, जो भी चीजें आपको नहीं चाहिए आप यहां से निकाल सकते हैं या हाइड कर सकते हैं. दैट इज योर चॉइस. ऑल इज योर चॉइस. द बेस्ट पार्ट इज दैट इट कम्स विथ पाइवट के लिए जो हमें डाटा चाहिए. देखो यहाँ आइटम नेम भी आ गया है. तो हम क्या करेंगे, जो एमआईएस रिपोर्ट जनरेट कैसे होता है वही हमें सीखना है ना. व्हाट विल बी दैट, यू आर जस्ट exporting the data from the system which you are using, whatever system the client has. यहाँ पे actual quantity है, alternate quantity, और this we don't need, so we will just remove that from the scanner. And moreover हो गया तो shift control and right table, and then insert pivot table from table and OK. So now whatever you want to first check on, so I will be always watching party name in the rows, so it will come here. Then if you need GST number of that client, you can put again that into that. It's up to you. मैंने item name select किया तो I will just remove it, remove field ऐसे होता है. ये यहाँ से drag करना था GST number आपको यहाँ पे. So whatever way you want to create your report, you are comfortable, flexible to do that way. Right now I'm not interested. I just want, मुझे मैनेजमेंट को देना था इस क्लाइंट का कितना सेल्स हुआ है. whatever demand, the as per your demand you can create the reports, So best part is that pivot बनाना easy हो जाता है देखो यहाँ से. And whatever you need you can take out from this. यहाँ से आपको मुझे जो लेना है, अमाउंट लेना है, वो मैं वैल्यूज में डाल दूंगी. So totally रेडी हो जाता है फ्रैक्शन. आर वी हैप्पी? आइटम वाइज फिल्टर कर सकते हो, जो भी करना है. एक्सेल आना जरूरी है. डेटा वहां से एक्सपोर्ट होके आ गया, डेटाबेस आपके पास आ गया, देन योर रिपोर्टिंग इज इजी. व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू शोकेस इज दैट दीज रिपोर्ट्स आर अवेलेबल टू यू. नाउ लेट्स गो टू व्हाट आई वी लर्न. सेल्स रजिस्टर कॉलमिनर एक्सपोर्ट हो सकता है, प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी हो सकता है. योर मैनेजमेंट नीड्स टू सी द प्रॉफिट. सो फॉर एग्जाम्पल हम यहाँ पे प्रॉफिट का भी अगर कुछ कॉलम आया है तो ड्रैग करके वो वहां पे डाल सकते हैं फॉर देम. जीपी कुछ था यहाँ पे सेल्स रजिस्टर में हमने वो कॉलम हेडिंग यू शुड रिमेम्बर, एंड दैट विल यू कैन ड्रैग. मार्जिन वर्ड यूज किया ना यहाँ पे, मार्जिन एंड अमाउंट. सो यहाँ पे आप कर सकते हो मार्जिन अमाउंट, क्योंकि अमाउंट कैन बी 1 और 2 और वट एवर. सो नाम चेंज करके यहाँ पे राइट क्लिक करके आप हमेशा रिफ्रेश कर सकते हो आपका डेटाबेस. ओके, एंड यहाँ पे वापस अभी हमने जब रिफ्रेश किया है और हमें चाहिए यहाँ से व्हाट वी जस्ट गिव नेम वाज मार्जिन अमाउंट, दैट विल बिकम द वैल्यूज सम ऑफ मार्जिन अमाउंट. दीज आर द यहाँ पे जो भी हुआ है. सो माय इंटेंशन वाज हियर टुडे टू शोकेस यहाँ पे जो भी है उसको आप अपने हिसाब से डेटा एक बार आ गया, व्हाटएवर रिपोर्ट्स यू वांट टू क्रिएट यू विल. नाउ लेट्स गो टू द नेक्स्ट वन. what is our PPT is telling us. The next is I want to see the trend कि क्या सेल्स में ट्रेंड हो रहा है. पाइवट टेबल मेरा हो एक्सपोर्ट, ठीक है ना. सो मैं यहां से डायरेक्ट जंप कर सकती हूँ, ऑल्ट जी करके भी मैं स्टॉक समरी में जा सकती हूँ, और मैं हमेशा आदत है हम लोग को गेट ऑफ टैली पे आके स्टॉक समरी में जाते हैं. तो अब हमारी स्टॉक समरी कैसी दिख रही है हमको, हमेशा से ऐसी दिखती थी. तो नाउ टेल यस कम आउट कि आपको अगर फॉर्मेट चेंज करना है, ओपनिंग बैलेंस, ट्रांजैक्शन, क्लोजिंग, और आपको इसको सेव करना है, और यहाँ पे आपको सेव व्यू भी उन्होंने दे दिया है. सो एवरी टाइम आई डोंट नीड टू कीप ऑन हैंडलिंग. तो आई कैन हैव स्टॉक समरी माय व्यू set as default view for the report. Yes, you can make it. Show additional all companies on this computer or only this company. So I will make this company depending on whatever methodology you want to do. And जब आपका ऑडिट चालू है तो आपको वही रिपोर्ट बार बार देखना है, लास्ट ईयर का 21-22. दैट टाइम यू कैन सेव विद द सिलेक्टेड पीरियड. सो कंट्रोल ए. सो दैट विल बी. अभी ये मैंने सेव कर लिया तो कहाँ दिखेगा, तो ऑल्ट जी आप यहाँ पे जाके देख सकते हैं स्टॉक समरी माय व्यू. And again the report is ready. Just on a click of button. जहां पे नेगेटिव है, जो भी है, एक्सेप्शन रिपोर्ट आपको निकालना है. अब हमारी बात चल रही थी कि ट्रेंड कौन सी आइटम का ज्यादा सेल्स हो रहा है, मुझे अगर वो चाहिए तो F12 आई विल जस्ट मेक इट नो ओपनिंग बैलेंस, नो गुड्स इनवर्ड, ओनली सेल्स जस्ट एंड ग्रोस वैल्यू फॉर आउटवर्ड्स मुझे चाहिए. दैट्स इट. एंड कंट्रोल इट. सो देन यू विल हैव एन आइडिया कि किसका कितना सेल्स हो रहा है, क्वांटिटी वाइज डिटेल्स, एंड जितने रिपोर्ट्स में आपको एवरीथिंग कैन बी एक्सपोर्टेड टू एक्सेल. जहां पे भी आप जाओगे सीधा आप एक्सपोर्ट कर सकते हो. जस्ट चेंज द नेम द वे यू वांट टू कीप इट. ओके. नेक्स्ट, सिमिलरली द सेम थिंग कैन बी अवेलेबल फॉर परचेज रजिस्टर. तो जस्ट रेप्लिका है, सो आई एम नॉट इन्वेस्टिंग टाइम इन दैट. Expense register also, if they are maintained, you will get that database. Let's now, all the management is always important in accounts receivable and aging report. कितना ज्यादा मेरा blockage fund should be released every time I am interested in knowing what is my fund. So display statement of account outstanding and this is the report, but these reports will not give me any information. I can't sit as a management को मैं ऐसे थोड़ी रिपोर्ट दे सकता हूँ. That can be effect ledger bill wise also I can prepare. Only word of caution, whenever you are giving this report to management, you need to check whatever is mentioned here. 66 lakhs आपका बैलेंस शीट का डेटर्स भी सेम होना चाहिए. बैलेंस शीट का डेटर्स, अगेन आई टेल, बैलेंस शीट करंट असेट्स आपका डेटर्स का फिगर सेम होना चाहिए. क्योंकि वहां पे क्यों डिफरेंस आया, अंडरस्टैंड डिफरेंस क्यों आता है. स्टाफ को, डेटा ऑपरेटर को आदत होती है ऑन अकाउंट डालने की. सो जब हम बिल रिसीवेबल आउटस्टैंडिंग के रिपोर्ट में जाते हैं, जब तक वो कहीं पे टैग नहीं हुआ तो टैली विल गिव यू ऑन अकाउंट. मेरे पास में जो आउटस्टैंडिंग है वो आउटस्टैंडिंग, यहाँ पे हम जब देखते हैं वो नेट दिखता है. बट जब हम जाते हैं बिल रिसीवेबल के रिपोर्ट में, वहां पे वो हमें क्या दिखाएगा, ग्रॉस वैल्यू दिखाएगा. तो जी ऑन अकाउंट उसको तो कुछ लेना देना ही नहीं है. मैंने और एक आपको फीचर बताया, शो ओपन रिपोर्ट्स. तो अभी क्या हो गया, आई कैन हैव 5 to 10 सिनेरियोस, जितने भी मुझे विंडोज खोल के रखने हैं, और ओल्ड जी शो ओपन रिपोर्ट्स में जाके मैं वापस वहां पे आ गई, तो मुझे वहां से एस्केप मारने की जरूरत ही नहीं है. अब ये हो गया, यहाँ पे इतना ही. उसके बाद एजिंग F6 करो, एजिंग बाय बिल डेट एंड 180 दिन से ज्यादा. ये सब रिपोर्ट आपको जीएसटी में 180 डेज से ज्यादा पेमेंट नहीं हुआ है, रिवर्सल करना है ड्यूरिंग द ईयर, वो सब रिपोर्टिंग आपको यहाँ से एक्सेल में मिल जाएगी आपका टैली के अंदर से. सो दिस रिपोर्ट इज व्हाट मैनेजमेंट रिक्वायर्स. व्हाट माय डेटर्स आउटस्टैंडिंग, व्हाट इज माय डेटर्स आउटस्टैंडिंग एंड माय क्रेडिटर्स आउटस्टैंडिंग मोर देन 180 डेज. दैट ऑल नीड टू बी extracted from our accounting software. Let's go further. I want to know payment performance of my debtors. Where from I will get that? Generally अभी कितने पीरियड में मेरा रोलिंग हो रहा है, मुझे पैसे कब आ रहे हैं. So there is one more report I can show you. Immediately I will able to get it. Just go to ratio analysis और यहाँ पे देखिए receivable turnover in days. There is a ready report available in Tally. Just click on that. It shows me से फॉर एग्जाम्पल आकांक्षा का मुझे 38 डेज में आया है, एक्यूटेक का इंजीनियरिंग का 16 डेज में। अब वो कैसे वो कैलकुलेट करता है टेली, तो यू जस्ट प्रेस एन एंटर एंड नाउ यू नो 11 मार्च को ड्यू था, 22 मार्च को पेमेंट आया, 6 मार्च को ड्यू था, तो इसका एवरेज आउट करके उन्होंने मुझे 16 डेज दिया। दिस रिपोर्ट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर द मैनेजमेंट। तो मैं इस क्लाइंट के साथ काम ही नहीं करूंगा, या तो जो मुझे जल्दी पता है पेमेंट मैं उसी को ज्यादा अप्रोच करूंगी। वट एवर आई वॉन्ट टू डू द डिसीजन मेकिंग के लिए ये बहुत ईजी हो जाता है एंड इट इज जस्ट क्लिक ऑफ बटन, द रिपोर्ट इज अवेलेबल, प्रोवाइडेड डेटा एंट्री डन प्रॉपर। वीगो हमेशा याद रखना है, गार्बेज इन गार्बेज आउट। इफ ऑन अकाउंट चल रहा है तो फिर रिपोर्ट विल बी फॉल्टी। दैट वाज व्हाट आई वांटेड टू शो। कूल। एंड बैंक रिकंसिलिएशन रिपोर्ट तो आपको चाहिए ही चाहिए। वो हमारा बैंक काफी सारे मैंने चेक काट के रख दिए हैं, बैंक में आए नहीं है, तो वो सब मैनेजमेंट को पता ही है कि उनको ये बैंक रिकंसिलिएशन रिपोर्ट चाहिए। और जैसे कि मैंने कहा था देयर विल बी ओडी अकाउंट या कुछ रहेगा, तो जिसकी वजह से वो उन्होंने लास्ट मंथ में सेल पंपिंग किया है, राइट। तो यहाँ पे डेट डालेंगे तभी जाके ही आपको बैंक रिकंसिलिएशन रिपोर्ट मिलेगा। दैट वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड। सो देयर इज वन सेट बैंक बट डेट बटन इज देयर। अगर आपके पास पुराना डेटा आता है और सालों वो इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं है, सालों से नहीं डाली है, तो आप सेट बैंक डेट करके वन गो में क्लियर कर सकते हो, प्रोवाइडेड यू नो द डेटा इज मैचिंग ऑन वन पर्टिकुलर डेट। सो दैट मैंने टिप आपको दे दी। लेट्स गो टू द नेक्स्ट फाइनेंशियल रिपोर्ट्स। नाउ व्हेनेवर वी स्टार्ट आवर ऑडिट, नाउ ऑडिट सीजन इज स्टार्टिंग इन द नेक्स्ट पीरियड, नेक्स्ट मंथ, तो हमारा फर्स्ट काम होता है हम लास्ट ईयर के ऑडिटेड बैलेंस शीट को चेक करते हैं या हमें ट्रायल बैलेंस देखनी है। अब हम सबको पता है ट्रायल बैलेंस, अभी देखो मेरी कंपनी का ट्रायल बैलेंस ओपनिंग, ट्रांजैक्शन एंड क्लोजिंग क्यों आया, क्योंकि मैंने सेट करके रखा है डिफॉल्ट में सेव व्यू में जाके। बाकी सब लोगों को पता है खाली वो आता है क्लोजिंग बैलेंस। यू विल अग्री विथ मी, राइट हिनल? आर यू देयर?
Yeah, right.
यस, क्योंकि मैंने क्या किया है, यहाँ पे जो हमारा सेव व्यू रहता है वहां पे हम जाके वो डिफॉल्ट हमने सब सेव करके रखा है ओपनिंग बैलेंस, क्योंकि हम F12 में जाके हमेशा ओपनिंग ट्रांजैक्शन वो सब करना पड़ता है। तो टू सेव ऑन टाइम ऑफ दी इवन चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट, या आप अगर क्वार्टरली ऑडिट रिव्यू करते हैं या आप रिटेनरशिप पे भी जाते हो, तो आपको डेटा कैसे देखना है, दिस बिकम्स योर वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टूल। Let's go to the balance sheet. So Alt G. Now we will be reviewing our balance sheet also, P&L also. अब यहाँ पे मैं बैलेंस शीट, मुझे दो कंपैरेटिव चाहिए लास्ट ईयर की देखनी है, तो हम लोग क्या करते हैं नॉर्मली Alt C करते हैं, करेक्ट? शी विल अग्री विथ मी, राइट? एंड यहाँ पे जाके हम पीरियड डालते हैं 21 और कंट्रोल है Alt F1 करके आप ड्रिल डाउन करके कंपैरेटिव्स देख लेंगे और समझ में आएगा कि क्या क्या चल रहा है। उसके बाद मैं जाती हूँ Alt G, प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस में भी हम कंपेयर करेंगे, हमें आइडिया देना है कि क्या कंपैरेटिव्स है, लास्ट ईयर और करंट ईयर एक साथ में आ गया। अब ये क्यों मैंने दिखाया, आई वॉज वॉचिंग वन रिपोर्ट वेयर देयर वाज कंपैरिजन वाज ऑन, सो इमीडिएटली व्हेन आई वेंट टू P&L द कंपैरिजन इज अगेन द ऑन। अगर मुझे यहाँ से बाहर आके मुझे एक फ्रेश रिपोर्ट देखना है, अब मैं जाऊंगी प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस में, ये देखो दिस इज हाउ हॉरिजॉन्टल इट कम्स एंड जनरली वी आर डूइंग Alt C। नाउ आई वांट यू टू एक्सप्लोर Alt N। आप Alt N प्रेस करके देखिए, आपको जब क्वार्टरली रिपोर्टिंग करना है, वीकली करना है, ईयरली करना है, एवरीथिंग इज अवेलेबल हियर। सो लेट अस हैव अ क्वार्टरली रिपोर्टिंग एंड हियर इट इज रेडी। आप लोड करोगे लास्ट ईयर का भी डेटा, तो जिन लोगों को क्वार्टरली रिपोर्टिंग लास्ट ईयर का पीरियड का कितना था, ऑल दिस यू एक्सेल में एक्सपोर्ट करके आप अपना काम इजीली रिपोर्टिंग कर सकते हो, बिकॉज यू ऑलवेज कंपेयर लास्ट ईयर क्वार्टर में क्या सेल था, करंट क्वार्टर में क्या सेल है, और इन सब का वो जो हमें वैरिएंस देखना है वो आई विल टेक यू विन अ मैनेजमेंट कंट्रोल रिपोर्ट में हम जाएंगे, तब हम उसको देखेंगे। अच्छा, अनदर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फीचर ऑफ Alt N, यहाँ पे जब हम Alt N करते हैं और बेसिकली प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस में जाके जब मैं Alt N करूंगी एंड आई वांटेड यहाँ जाके, अच्छा दिस इज क्लोजिंग स्टॉक इज मैन्युअली एंटर्ड। अगर आपका फैच होता है डायरेक्टली फ्रॉम द टैली, देन इन Alt N you have the feature called valuation, stock valuation method. So how I can show you, stock तो मैंने मेंटेन किया ही है, तो Alt G, अगर मैं Alt G स्टॉक समरी में जाती हूँ, स्टॉक समरी, and I want to see Alt N, here is stock valuation method. Are you with me? there is a stock valuation method and just see. तो डिफॉल्ट का क्या है वैल्यूएशन 42 चाहे यहाँ पे 38 हो गया 44 14 हो गया. So you can understand LIFO annual, that facility is available. You can showcase आपका स्टैंडर्ड प्राइस क्या है, स्टैंडर्ड लेते हो तो 10,40,000 है. सो और डेटा ऐसा आपके पास है, आप उसको स्क्रीन करके समझ सकते हैं. एवरेज कॉस्ट. सो while creating the master, as a I being an auditor or a prudent person, master properly create हुआ है कि नहीं, सबका सेम. क्योंकि when in tax audit report also we write if stock is valued at cost or a market or this. अभी तो अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड के हिसाब से स्टॉक एट वैल्यू मतलब स्टैंडर्ड प्राइस कॉस्ट करना है. सो वॉट एवर यू आर डूइंग दैट यू नीड टू क्रॉस चेक इट. द मेथड इट इज सेम इज बीन पॉइंट्स बाय देम और नॉट. इट इज बाय डिफॉल्ट टैली टेक्स एवरेज कॉस्ट है, यू नो. सो दैट इज व्हाट आई वांटेड यू टू अंडरस्टैंड. ऑल टाइम को भी एक्सप्लोर कीजिए सो दैट विल गिव यू मोर इनसाइट. नाउ वी आर गोइंग टू इन्वेंटरी रिपोर्ट्स. We have 15 minutes, right, with us?
Yes.
Cool. So let's explore some inventory reports. So basically, as a management, I want to know what is the movement analysis. So that is again at your rescue. Inventory books करके उनका पूरा एक what do you say मॉड्यूल ही है, जहां से आपको मैंने जैसे बताया था अभी वो स्टॉक क्वेरी मिलती है, वो भी मिलेगा. और आपका स्टेटमेंट्स ऑफ इन्वेंट्री में मूवमेंट एनालिसिस, एजिंग एनालिसिस, एवरीथिंग इज मेंशन्ड देयर. एंड मूवमेंट में भी मुझे ग्रुप वाइज भी एनालिसिस मिलेगा, कैटेगरी वाइज भी मिलेगा, आइटम वाइज भी मिलेगा. सो इट्स अप टू मी हाउ आई वांट टू लुक इनटू द डेटाबेस. सो मैं अगर कैटेगरी मैंने की है या स्टॉक आइटम की है तो मैं कोई एक आइटम पकड़ के भी उसकी एनालिसिस करूं. अगर उसमें कुछ सेल हो रहा है तो मुझे अगर कुछ देखना है तो पहले हम जाएंगे हमारी स्टॉक समरी में. लेट्स हैव देखो मैंने मैनेजर व्यू करके भी रखा है कि उसको प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी चाहिए. यहाँ पे देखो 11.5% प्रॉफिट है. तो ये हम अगर अलॉय सील बास जीएसटी ऐसा नाम लेके जाते हैं एंड वी विल जस्ट हैव द आइटम एनालिसिस. तो दिस वाज समथिंग. तो अब देखो किससे आया है किसको गया है, ऊपर पीरियड देखना है आपको एंड क्या बेसिक रेट था, इफेक्टिव रेट था, वॉट एवर इट इज गिविंग यू. मैं सिर्फ एग्जाम्पल्स दे रही हूँ. Once you know how to extract the data, it is something you will really enjoy. So, and it is available analysis. अगर आप खाली अभी क्या हो गया है, यहाँ जाके आपको खाली एनालिसिस टाइप करना है, एनालिटिकल प्रोसीजर, तो वो फाइनल मैनेजमेंट में लेके जाऊंगी. अब मुझे स्टॉक मूवमेंट खाली डालना था ना, मूवमेंट. आप खाली मूवमेंट टाइप करो, मूवमेंट कितने मूवमेंट दिख रहे हैं, यू विल बी अमेज्ड.
A lot of options are there.
हाँ, so हमें खाली एक्सप्लोर करना है. And what is this? These are whatever report I will generate, it will be important from the management point of view. And what is their requirement, that only I have to remove from this. Correct? So let's understand कि यहाँ पे सब कुछ अवेलेबल है, सिर्फ हमें वो यूज करना है. Agreed?
Yeah.
जॉब वर्क भी रहेगा, मटेरियल मूवमेंट रहेगा, तो सब कुछ. अगर कॉस्ट सेंटर इंटीग्रेटेड रहता तो कॉस्ट सेंटर का भी आ जाता था सब कुछ. सो लेट्स मूव ऑन. एंड द वे आई सेड एवरीथिंग इज अवेलेबल इन दैट रिपोर्टिंग. मूवमेंट एनालिसिस यहाँ पे हो गया. अगर इन्होंने सेट किया होता रीऑर्डर लेवल तो एजिंग एनालिसिस. एजिंग में देखो 45 डेज, 45 to 90, वो आप यहाँ पे वापस एजिंग पीरियड आपके हिसाब से डिफाइन कर सकते हो. कितना मूविंग आइटम्स है, स्लो मूविंग क्या है. So these all reports will give you the idea.
Okay.
आपको खुद को डिफाइन करना है. मैंने ऑलरेडी डिफाइन करके रखा था 45 डेज. तो ये आइटम मेरी 45 डेज में मूव होती है. जैसे कि कॉइल है तो विद इन 45 डेज में वो आता है और चले जाता है. बाकी का थोड़ा लंबा जा रहा है ना. यू कैन कम टू नो दैट. So this is how one can create the reports and give to seniors or management the way you want it to. Cool. यहाँ पे एजिंग स्टाइल क्या है मैंने भी एक्सप्लोर किया था. देखो बाय डेट ऑफ परचेज, बाय एक्सपायरी डेट, बाय मैन्युफैक्चरिंग डेट टू बी एक्सपायर. तो अगर हम किसी फार्मा कंपनी का कर रहे हैं तो वहां पे आपको एजिंग स्टेटस एक्सपायरी, वो बैच कभी एक्सपायर हो रहा है, या हम कोई मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंपनी का कर रहे हैं वहां पे बिलो अगर आप टैली में एंट्री करते हो तो आपको मैन्युफैक्चरिंग डेट के साथ भी मिलेगा. So everything is available easily, only you have to explore. और जब मैं बोलती हूँ एक्सेप्शन रिपोर्ट मीन्स यहाँ पे मुझे नेगेटिव स्टॉक आइटम्स इमीडिएटली वन गो में वो दे सकता है, इमीडिएटली जस्ट एक्सेप्शन रिपोर्ट ऑन ईच स्क्रीन यू कैन एक्सप्लोर. और वैसे भी देखा जाएगा ना तो हमारे लिए जो एज अ ऑडिटर हमारे लिए देखो यहाँ पे एक्सेप्शन रिपोर्ट का एक पूरा बंडल दिया उन्होंने. यू कैन हैव ऑप्शनल कैंसल पोस्ट नेगेटिव लेजर्स. नाउ दीज लेजर्स जैसे ही आप ऑडिट में जाते हो आपका ध्यान इसके ऊपर जाना चाहिए नेगेटिव लेजर्स में कि इसमें क्या ऑप्शन अवेलेबल है. डेटर्स हैविंग क्रेडिटेड बैलेंस, ये सब भी मैं एक बकेट में भी उन्होंने डाल के मुझे दिया है. या मैं यहाँ पे ऑल्ट F12 मार के लेजर्स हैविंग ग्रुप नेम फिल्टर मार रही हूँ विथ नेम कंटेनिंग डेटर्स. ओके, तो ये डेटर्स है जिसमें क्रेडिट बैलेंस है. अभी भी मैंने ऑल्ट F12 करके फिल्टर मार के निकाला, वो जरूरी नहीं है मेरे को कहीं से और से भी निकालना है तो मैं निकाल सकती हूँ. और ये नेगेटिव स्टॉक डायरेक्टली मिला, वहां पे मैंने एक्सेप्शन रिपोर्ट्स में निकाला था. सो दीज आर ऑल इम्पोर्टेंट. हम जब ऑडिट पे जाएंगे या हम क्वार्टरली रिव्यू कर रहे हैं तो वी कैन गिव दिस काइंड ऑफ वैल्यू एडिशनल रिपोर्ट टू द मैनेजमेंट. दे विल बी हैप्पी टू कीप continuing your services. Now very important is variance analysis, right? हम एज अ सीए हमारा ध्यान हमेशा एनालिसिस, तो उन्होंने ये मॉड्यूल का नाम ही एनालिसिस एंड वेरिफिकेशन दिया है टैली डिस्प्ले रिपोर्ट्स में. फिर हमारा काम है क्या, डेटा एनालिसिस करना है. सो आई गो टू डेटा एनालिसिस एंड ये वेरिफिकेशन ऑफ बैलेंसेस होता है जब हम लास्ट ईयर और प्रीवियस ईयर अलग अलग कंपनी है, मेरे वहां पहले ऑडिट हुआ था और मैंने रखा होगा, आई कैन लोड दैट कंपनी एंड चेक दिस. बट माई फोकस इज ऑन एनालिटिकल प्रोसीजर विच इज रेडिली अवेलेबल. हम वो जाके वहां पे करते हैं पीएनएल में, उसकी जगह पे यूज दिस मॉड्यूल. यहाँ पे अगर आप जाते हो तो ग्रुप टू ग्रुप कंपैरिजन, कॉस्ट सेंटर टू कॉस्ट सेंटर कंपैरिजन, तो स्काइज लिमिट. आपको जितना चेक करना है आपके ऊपर है. आप सेल्स ले लीजिए, कंपेयर विद डायरेक्ट एक्सपेंस, यू नो. एंड देखो पीरियड उन्होंने 22-23 बाई डिफॉल्ट लिखा है, बट आई एम डूइंग समझो 21-22 का ऑडिट. जस्ट गो हियर and I can change the period. And the moment I'm changing the period, you will also notice that then I can do this for every quarter, every month, जब भी मुझे जो check करना है, right? And then I will have an advanced comparison where again I will put another group called indirect expenses and save. So now see the report. अब अगर हम हमारा लास्ट ईयर का ऑडिट जब चालू करेंगे, टैली का डेटा आएगा, यही चीज हम एक आधा घंटा सीनियर पर्सन ऑफ द कंपनी ऑडिट टीम जस्ट गो थ्रू एंड वेरिएंस एनालिसिस चेक कर लिया, वो बोल सकता है कि यहाँ आपको ज्यादा ऑडिट करना है, इन डेप्थ ऑडिट करना है. दैट इज व्हाट दी. ओके, कूल. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Whereas, and with a click of button, see what I am trying to tell you is that click of button, everything is coming. ऐसे बोलता भी है 31.81% आपका इंक्रीज है. फिर आपको मैंने यहाँ पे जितना एनालिसिस, जो भी एनालिसिस करना है आप कर सकते हैं. फॉरेक्स ट्रांजैक्शन होगा, फिक्स असेट एनालिसिस भी है. तो फिक्स असेट एनालिसिस में क्या है, लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड. ये पूरे साल में हुई होती तो यहाँ पे आ जाता, और 180 डेज का वो चार्ट भी खुद देता है टैली. तो आपका वो काम भी आसान हो गया कि वो जो 50% डिप्रिसिएशन क्लेम करना है वो प्रॉपरली हो रहा है कि नहीं. करेक्ट. वन रिपोर्ट, जस्ट वन क्लिक ऑफ बटन. फिक्स यहाँ से मैं गई थी, यहाँ पे देखो F9 है और यहाँ पे मैंने जस्ट फिक्स असेट एनालिसिस देखा. So these are reports inbuilt available to us. And now what as chartered accountant or auditor we are interested in relative size factor. RSF is what is the buzzword. कि अगर आप एक्सेल में काम कर रहे हो तो रिलेटिव साइज फैक्टर पता चलना चाहिए. What it means relative size factor? That particular ledger, the highest amount and the second highest amount के बीच में जो रेशियो है वो अगर 1 या 2 से ज्यादा है, you can probe into it. Not necessarily that will be an issue, but that will give you an idea. कि वहां पे अभी देखो इसमें 3 है, तो one item is highest, this is lowest, and यहाँ पे और एक है, यहाँ पे इतना है. Nothing wrong in it, but कुछ food for thought. जैसे बोलते हैं ना, एनालिटिक्स के लिए आपके पास डेटा अवेलेबल है. That is very very crisp and important. तो RSF भी हमें readily अवेलेबल है. यहाँ पे इतना सारा मैं जो बता रही हूँ वो मेरे को लगता है कि हम ये तो टाइम है अपने पास 45 मिनट्स का, उसमें जितना मैं कवर कर सकती हूँ, क्योंकि बहुत सारे रिपोर्ट्स आप खाली एक्सप्लोर करिए. मेरा कहने का मतलब ये है कि आई कैन गो ऑन एंड ऑन फॉर दी रिपोर्टिंग. एंड नाउ जीएसटी में अभी कैश फ्लो स्टेटमेंट भी आपके पास अवेलेबल है एंड रेशियो एनालिसिस को थोड़ा टच करेंगे. एंड आई वांटेड टू शो यू जीएसटी जब हम 1 फाइल करते हैं या 2A हमारा जब अभी कल आज सबका फाइल हो जाएगा, कल जनरली आ जाता है या परसों आता है जीएसटी की साइट के हिसाब से, फिर हम साइट का जीएसटी यार 2A या 2B डाउनलोड करेंगे और उसको कंपेयर करेंगे. You all should know VLOOKUP and pivot. These are the basic Excel tips you all should know. And Excel में समिट फंक्शन है वो भी अगर आपको आएगा तो दिस बेटर. रेशियो में यहाँ पे तो पूरा उन्होंने नहीं दिया है कि करंट रेशियो क्या है, क्विक रेशियो, डेट इक्विटी रेशियो, जीपी रेशियो, नेट प्रॉफिट भले लॉस में है तो कुछ तो है जो कंपनी का सिग्नल्स आपको इमीडिएटली आ सकता है. सो दिस इज हाउ वन शुड एनालाइज द डेटा व्हेन दे रीच टू द क्लाइंट्स प्लेस. Is there any question till now?
There is a question, rather there's a suggestion. So someone has asked that please discuss the format of MIS report to be presented by CFO to the management. Like if you can just help के कौन सा MIS report हम लोग present करें.
वही था ना. देखो हमने जब ये सेल्स बनाया ना, so what they will be giving is this, and then यहीं पे आपको चार्ट बार जो भी डालना है ना, यहाँ पे आप चार्ट बना सकते हो. वो इंसर्ट चार्ट करके यहाँ पे जो टैब है ना, वो लेआउट कुछ भी करना है आपको, इसका ही आप यहाँ पे बार चार्ट बनाने का है. सब मेरे को कैसे दिखाना है, आई कैन हैव दिस वे, यू नो, इनसाइड द पाइवट टेबल. यहाँ खड़े रहकर बनाते हो. चलो दिस इज द चार्ट. सो फिर उसको आपको जैसे फॉर्मेट में बताना है वो बना के मैनेजमेंट को देंगे. सी बेसिकली व्हाट वाज माय इंटेंशन टुडे इज दैट कि कोई भी रिपोर्ट निकालने के लिए पहले आपको जो आपका सॉफ्टवेयर अवेलेबल है वहां से एक्सपोर्ट कर सकते हो और उसके बाद आपके पास एक्सेल पे हैंड्स ऑन होना चाहिए. एंड दैट मैंने मेरे 40-45 मिनट्स में कवर करने का ट्राई किया. बट आई वांटेड कि इतनी सारी चीजें वहीं पे अवेलेबल है. आपका मोस्ट ऑफ द एसएमईज एंड मोस्ट ऑफ द चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स आर यूजिंग टैली प्राइम. टैली ERP 9 में भी सब कुछ अवेलेबल है. वी कैन सजेस्ट देम टू मूव टू द लेटेस्ट वन बिकॉज अभी 1 जनवरी 23 ई इनवॉइसिंग भी आ जाएगा, राइट? सो दैट इज अवेलेबल 5 करोड़ की टर्नओवर के ऊपर. सो दैट ऑल इज अवेलेबल इन अवर दिस प्रोडक्ट टैली प्राइम. और इंस्टीट्यूट का टाइप भी है उनके साथ. सो अवर चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट कैन टेक बेनिफिट ऑफ दैट. ओके, एंड कमिंग बैक टू द सब्जेक्ट प्रॉपर, व्हाट शो यू दैट JCR 1 वाला ना 2A वाला, थोड़ा सा मैं उनको वो दिखा देती हूँ. सो generally what do we do display GST. I will prefer Alt G and GSTR 3B. सीधा मैं तो शॉर्टकट से जाती हूँ. तो अगर मैं 3B में जाऊंगी और अभी देखो ये May 22 में जाके बैठा है. अब उसके लिए मुझे GSTR 2A उसका डाउनलोडेड भी चाहिए ना. ओके, गिव मी अ मिनट. आई हैव जस्ट स्टॉप शेयर बाय स्क्रीन.
ओके,
हाँ. I am getting the 2A from the system so that we can understand. By the time that comes, let me just export the data from Tally, correct? So let me again share my screen. Okay. So, which month you are giving me? April or May? So that I will export from here. नहीं चालू से. टेल मी फास्ट. नो विच मंथ? Okay. So eligible ITC, that person has entered the data. Then I will go to ITC, and generally what we do is export this register, right?
Yes.
We will export this current, and I have to configure the path. और जैसे कि लास्ट टाइम हमने किया था, यहाँ पे हम जाके सिलेक्ट फ्रॉम ड्राइव, तो नाउ इट इज लाइक टॉगलिंग, यू नो, आप कहीं पे भी जाके जो कर रहा है वैसे भी जाके सिलेक्ट कर सकते हो, चॉइस इज योर्स ना। आपको जैसे कि मुझे जाना है डाउनलोड्स में, मैंने ICI का रखा है और इसके अंदर मुझे डालना है। सो दिस इज माय पाथ एंड आई विल पुट द नेम से न्यू टू ए टैली, बराबर, टैली में से मैंने निकाला है, इसको मैंने एक्सपोर्ट कर दिया। Show me is this, okay? Generally just go and just delete this line because मुझे डालना है फिल्टर या पाइवट, जो भी मुझे करना है। पाइवट करना है तो बीच में कोई लाइन मत रखो डेटा के अंदर। देन सिलेक्ट दिस, शिफ्ट राइट एरो एंड कंट्रोल एंड, देन इंसर्ट, कंट्रोल डाउन एरो, देन पाइवट टेबल, फ्रॉम टेबल, ओके करो। यहाँ पे आपका पार्टी नंबर या GST, अभी 2A में GST नंबर आता है, तो लेट्स हैव GST नंबर हियर, एंड यू वांट टैक्सेबल, इंटीग्रेटेड, सेंट्रल टैक्स, स्टेट टैक्स में पकड़ के उसको ड्रैग कर लो, ठीक है। अभी जहां पे काउंट है वहां पे आप जाके वैल्यू फील्ड सेटिंग्स में जाके आपको सम सिलेक्ट करना है और ओके करना है, ठीक है। अभी इंटीग्रेटेड में उसका कुछ है ही नहीं, तो आप उसको रिमूव फील्ड कर सकते हो और देन यू ड्रैग दिस डाउन, ओके। सो ये हमारा एक डेटाबेस रेडी हो गया। अब हमको पता है ये क्या है, मेरा टेली डेटा, राइट? एंड अनदर डेटा विल कम फ्रॉम और क्या बोलते हैं, GST वेबसाइट।
Yes.
So if I go to inbox and if I got the mail, I will be lucky. हमारा TA आ गया कि नहीं आया? So let me download. इसमें तो ऑलरेडी एक्सरसाइज किसी ने करके रखी है। So again, if I go to my ICA daily and I want this demo GST PDF, आपका डाउनलोड, ओके। अब हम इसको देखेंगे शो इन फोल्डर, एंटर, कंटेंट। अभी आपके पास दूसरा एक डेटाबेस आया जो साइट से आता है, जनरली ऐसे आता है। तो ये मैंने यहाँ से उठा के कंट्रोल C, आई विल डू कंट्रोल C एंड आई विल कम बैक टू माय फाइल। यहाँ पे मैं एक पर्टिकुलर शीट ऐड करूंगी और यहाँ पे लिख देंगे GST एंड डेटा, राइट? GST साइट से जो आया है ये आपके पास डेटा आ गया, ओके। तो अब आप क्या करोगे, इसका भी आपको एक पाइवट बनाना पड़ेगा। तो हम यहाँ पे ये इसको नाम दे देते हैं टैली पाइवट। तो नीचे मैं शीट का नाम दे रही हूँ ताकि आप जब डेटा को कंपेयर कर रहे हो आप क्लियर हो जाओ कि आप क्या कर रहे हो। सो जस्ट ऑलवेज लेट्स बी लिटिल प्रोएक्टिव एंड चेंज द नेम। तो अगर मैं इसको ऐसे करके इंसर्ट पाइवट टेबल डाल दूंगी, फ्रॉम टेबल रेंज, अगेन ओके। सो वन अदर पाइवट विल कम, तो शीट 3 को हम डाल देंगे GST एंड पाइवट, राइट? ये आपने नाम दे दिया। यहाँ पे भी अभी सेम लेना है आपको। वी लुकअप के लिए ना आपका जो whatever you want to search should be standard, exactly same, then only you will be able to get the proper report. तो यहाँ पे आ गया ये, और इसमें देखते साइड पे कुछ IGST था कि नहीं, nothing. So we can just remove it, right? Unnecessary રાખવાનું જરૂર નથી. What I will always teach is that keep things as simple as possible.
Right.
And this we will write adding as a GST and data. Now this is a pivot. So मुझे कुछ VLOOKUP करना है, it will create issues. So let's have one more sheet where we will write comparisons, right? comparison या input credit working or whatever name you want to give. So first I'll fetch the data from tally. यहाँ से मैं उठा लूंगी, इसको मैंने कंट्रोल C करना है और यहाँ आके कंपैरिजन में राइट क्लिक करके पेस्ट स्पेशल करना है और आपको सिर्फ वैल्यूज डालना है. ओके, सो अदरवाइज इट विल पॉप अप, वो अंदर पाइवट चलता रहेगा. ये हो गया आपका काम. यहाँ पे जाके अगर आप जीएसटी एंड पाइवट भी सेम है, शिफ्ट डाउन एरो एंड देन राइट एरो, कंट्रोल C, I go to comparison and right click, paste special, values and OK. Now the data is little bit available to me and आप उसको वो sort भी कर सकते हो अगर एकदम comparative जो टू होए. We can have sorted like this, sort A to Z. ये हो गया. यहाँ पे जो मैंने sort करना है तो मैं इसको sort A to Z. ज्यादा वो उस हिसाब से है. ओके फाइन. नाउ आई विल ट्राई टू, यू हैव टू फिल्टर वी लुकअप कैसे देखना चाहते हैं फ्रॉम टैली, मतलब जो टैली में है वो साइट पे है कि राइट. हम तो वही देखेंगे ना जो टैली में मैंने डाला है वो साइट पे आया है कि नहीं आया है, या फिर साइट दोनों चेक करना पड़ता है कि साइट पे है तो क्लाइंट के बच्चे ने एंट्री नहीं किया, वैसे भी हो सकता है. ways of looking at the data. And the only jugglery what I'm finding is that here is that देखो 1ZD है वो यहाँ पे है और ये 1ZL ऊपर, ये डेटा छोटा है इसलिए इजी है देखने के लिए, बाकी नहीं होता है. ओके ना. तो लेट्स हैव कंपैरिजन. हम क्या लिखेंगे ऊपर, हेडिंग देंगे फाइंडिंग टैली डेटा इन जीएसटी डेटा और नॉट. करेक्ट, दैट इज आवर टारगेट. एंड देन हियर हमारा क्या बोलते हैं आंसर. तो इज इक्वल टू हम फिल्टर लुकअप का फॉर्मूला लगाएंगे. क्या देखना चाहते हो, तो टैली का डेटा जीएसटी में आया नहीं है कि नहीं वो मैं देखना चाहती हूँ. तो फर्स्ट आई विल पिक अप फ्रॉम टैली व्हाट आई वांट टू लुक एट दिस जीएसटी नंबर हैज कम इन दिस डेटाबेस और नॉट. करेक्ट, मैंने ये सिलेक्ट किया डेटाबेस एंड देन कोमा एंड देन व्हाट यू वांट द आंसर. अगर है तो यहाँ पे ये जो टेबल सिलेक्ट किया है उसमें से समझो मुझे सम ऑफ टैक्सेबल लेना है तो वो भी ले सकता हूँ, या सीएसटी का लेना है, जीएसटी का फिगर लेना है वो भी ले सकता हूँ. चॉइस इज योर्स. एक बार के लिए हम सम ऑफ टैक्सेबल पहले चेक करते हैं. तो नंबर 2, कॉलम नंबर 2 एंड कोमा 0 एंड दिस क्लोज. सो उसको नहीं मिल रहा है. क्यों नहीं मिल रहा है? इमीडिएट आंसर आपको,
because there is a space between D and 1. So that's why they cannot match it.
करेक्ट. सो हम यही दिखाना था कि जब आप कंपैरिजंस करते हो आपको ध्यान होना चाहिए कि आपका डेटा आर ऑन द सेम पेज और नॉट. तो अब इसको हम कैसे कर सकते हैं, एक ही साथ में रिप्लेस करना है मुझे स्पेस बार को, राइट. सो आई कैन हैव अ कंट्रोल फाइंड स्पेस एंड रिप्लेस ऑल. ये मैंने शॉर्टकट्स और भी एक सिखा दिया. देखो सब चले गए एंड आंसर ऑटोमेटिक आ गया. तो एक्सेल वर्क्स ऑन द फॉर्मूला वाज राइट, द फॉर्मेट वाज नॉट. तो ये सब चीजें हमें समझ में आनी चाहिए जब हम डेटा के ऊपर काम कर रहे हैं. राइट, वो जानबूझ के ऐसे रखा गया था क्योंकि जहां से आप इंफॉर्मेशन ले रहे हो वो डेटा आपके हिसाब से होगा ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है. और फिर आप यहाँ पे डाल दोगे वरायंस अगर है तो व्हाट इज द वरायंस इज दैट आप देखोगे कि टैली डेटा में क्या था, आप यहाँ पे फॉर्मूला डाल दीजिए और यहाँ पे आंसर में क्या है. अगर 0 है तो मतलब कि आपका मैचिंग कंसेप्ट हो गया. करेक्ट. अब जब वी लुकअप करते हो तो आपको ये फ्रीज करना पड़ता है. यू ऑल मस्ट बी नोइंग राइट कि ये पर्टिकुलर जो हमारा टेबल है उसको आपको F4 प्रेस करके फ्रीज करना पड़ता है, नहीं तो वो नीचे चला जाएगा. जैसे ही हम इस फॉर्मूला को ड्रैग करेंगे कंट्रोल C करके यहाँ पे, ये देख लीजिए आपको रेडी हो गया ना चार्ट. तो यू नीड नॉट टू चेक दिस जीएसटी एंड डेटा, यू चेक कि मुझे यहाँ पे ये जो नॉट एप्लीकेबल है वो क्या है, G 1ZG इज नॉट फीचरिंग हियर. यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड द डेटा. आई थिंक यू ऑल विल अग्री के ये दिस वाज वेरी शॉर्टकट. पहले हमने डेटा एक्सपोर्ट किया, फिर हमने पाइवट मारा, फिर हमने पाइवट को कंट्रोल C करके पेस्ट स्पेशल करना है, वैल्यूज डालनी है, फिर आपको वी लुकअप मारना है. Are we through?
Yeah.
I think my time must be up. But I think I have done justice to whatever in the limited time was available to you.
Yeah. Vanna, can I ask you, like, there are 2 questions. Will you be able to answer them? Okay. So the first question is that, since, everything is digital now, the MIS reporting is also, undergoing the change. So, they just wanted some light on, there are some other powerful tools like Tableau and Power BI.
Power BI is also there, na? अभी forensic में हम लोग देखो, that is for the very big size of company. Power BI use. आप यहाँ पे Excel में ही, इसीलिए तो हम Excel के साथ है. देखो हमने क्या किया, what I today's session what we wanted. आप SAP पे भी काम करोगे या कोई भी सॉफ्टवेयर पे काम करोगे, वो डेटा पहले आप Excel में एक्सपोर्ट करोगे ना, तो कहाँ से कुछ लेके फिर यहाँ पे काम करना है. तो मेरा जो मेरा इंटेंशन था, मैक्सिमम पीपल आर यूजिंग टैली, पर उसमें इतनी सारी चीजें अवेलेबल है वो भी लोगों को मालूम नहीं है. तो MIS पूरे आई मीन यू कैन हैव 80-90% MIS फ्रॉम देयर ओनली. खाली उसको एक्सेल में एक्सपोर्ट कर दिया और उसमें 1-2 कॉलम्स इधर उधर कर दी, तो यू आर रेडी विथ इट. सो व्हाट वी आर लुकिंग एट इज दैट के समथिंग इज रेडीली अवेलेबल, इसको पहले यूज कर लेते हैं. और एक्सेल तो आपके पास है ही, मैंने इसीलिए बोला ना, पाइवट, वीलुकअप, समीफ, ये थोड़ी सी फॉर्मूलाज अगर आपको आती है, आपके रिपोर्ट तो रेडी होके जा सकते हैं के पास. एंड फ्रॉम वेयर यू आर गेटिंग द डेटा, वो थोड़े स्ट्रक्चर्ड वे में आएगा. दैट इज मोर इम्पोर्टेंट. एंड द सेकंड क्वेश्चन प्लीज.
The second question is that जो पहले उन्होंने पूछा था CFO को कौन सा रिपोर्ट करने का, तो उसमें सेकंड पार्ट आया है कि बेसिकली अगर CFO को EBITDA डेटा रहता है,
तो रेशियो एनालिसिस कर दिया ना हमने. जनरली P&L, what I was trying to showcase कि ये जो तुम्हारे पास रिपोर्ट है वो प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस क्वार्टरली आप देखोगे, उसका वैरिएंस देखोगे, फिर आपका अर्निंग आएगा. दैट ओनली यू विल बी शोकेसिंग टू दैट. करेक्ट. तो डेटा के ऊपर से ही उनको रिपोर्ट देना है. That's not a मतलब
वो थोड़ा like they'll have to work around it, but मतलब जैसे आपने रिपोर्ट्स देखा उसके बेसिस पे I'm sure she'll be able they'll be able to
the data. There's so many things pulling data. खाली एक्सप्लोर करो. एक्सप्लोर.
Yeah.
I can take you through my last this thing, क्योंकि हमने तो वो कर दिया ना अभी. देखो Q&A भी हो गया, और मैंने ना स्लाइड में वो भी दिया है कि this is something called Tally Simplified by Vandana Lodya में channel है. You can refer to this. Okay? Cool?
Yeah.
Thanks for giving me an opportunity.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Vandana, for sharing so many, reports with us and, encouraging us to explore the new Tally, because, what I feel is like how much we work on it, that's, that much more we'll come to know about it. Yeah. And, I mean, really, really thanks. It was a very informative session and very interactive also. It was like as if, you were giving me a private coaching class. But I thoroughly enjoyed, and it was really fun learning from you. So from the entire team, I'll just like to tell you a big thank you for your precious time, and hope to see you soon with some other topic relating to Tally.
Yeah. Amrita, you want to say something? You're on mute.
Amrita, you're on mute.
I just want to say thank you so much. It was really very helpful. And yes, it will definitely save a lot of time with the tips and tricks which you've shared.
Day to day, they use the jargon MIS reporting. It's nothing a big deal. It is management information system extracted from the data which you are having. उनको क्या चाहिए, मेरा sales कैसे हो रहा है, मेरा stock कहाँ पे अटका है, और मेरा balance क्या है, मेरा debtors कभी आने वाला है, कितने दिन में आता है. So these are the only reports which they are interested in. बेसिकली वो नाम घुमा फिरा के कुछ और करते हैं, बाकी बातें तो वही है जो हम दिखा रहे हैं, वही उनको दिखाना है आगे चल के. थोड़ा सा उसको ग्लोरीफाई करके चार्ट और पाइवो वो सब बना के देना है. बात तो यही होने वाली है ना. एट द एंड ऑफ द डे यू वांट टू नो आर द कंपनी इज रनिंग इन प्रॉफिट और लॉस, आर द माय डेटर्स आर कमिंग ऑन टाइम और नॉट, और माय रिसोर्स पर्सन्स आर वर्किंग प्रॉपर्ली और नॉट. दैट इज व्हाट इज MIS. सो आई थिंक अंडर द अर्थ मैंने तो मेरे हिसाब से I love Tally, you all know that. So in that I have taken and thanks once again bottom of my heart to Priti. And on Guru Purnima's day I got the opportunity to share with you all the dais. That is also very important. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Best
Thank you.
wishes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Stay safe. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.